I would like to bring you a little bit the short history of the Christianity in Madagascar to better understand where are things today. So, in 1613, there were Portuguese Jesuit priests, namely Mariano and Azevedo, who were allowed by the king of a very south part of the island of Madagascar, called Anousse, to preach in his territory. But later on, for some reason, one of the two priests was killed, and the other one was sent back to India. That was in the 17th century. Then after that, everything was quiet. But in the 19th century, there was a king. His name was Radama III. He openly welcomed the missionaries from the LMS, the London Missionary Society. And they introduced the Latin alphabet, what we use today, to read, to write the English, for example. But this time, there was only 21 letters. And Malagasy, they also tried to install Malagasy grammar, how to write Malagasy language, and Malagasy dictionary from Malagasy to English, or from Malagasy to Malagasy itself. And they started, and they did this translation of the Bible at that time. Unfortunately, in 1928, this king Radam I died, and his wife, called Ravelojaona first. If you are in Madagascar and someone calls you, I'm talking with the woman, you are Ravelojaona first, be aware that because people are going to think that you are cruel. Because this Ravelojaona first was really a tyranny. She prohibited Christianity and persecuted the believers. There were martyrs, many martyrs. And faith and worship became clandestine. And people continued to worship and to pray. They took their Bible, because Bible was newly printed at that time, page by page, and hid the Bible and went in the caves away out of the town to read the Bible and to pray. I'm not going to say fortunately, but that was the case. 1861, Ravelojaona I died. There was another king, Radama II, who was on the power for a while, not that long, and he restored Christianity, but he was killed 2 years later. But at that time, missionaries came back again to Madagascar, and not only the LMS, the London Missionary, but there also the Catholics, the Anglicans, and also the Lutherans came to Madagascar. 1882, France declared Madagascar a protectorate after reaching an agreement with Britain in exchange for French recognition of its claims to Zanzibar. Zanzibar is another island just across the sea, very close to the African continent. And then after that protectorate, in 1897, France declared Madagascar a French colony. They deported the prime minister at that time to Algeria, and there was a popular resistance movement called the Mena Lamba, red cloths, red fabrics. I don't know why do they call it Mena Lamba. The Mena Lamba, but this Mena Lamba was a popular movement, a rebellion, violent, against what happened, and including against the coming of all kinds of strangers, including the missionaries. The rebellion was violently quelled, the royal family executed, the queen sent into exile in an island which is at about 1 hour and a half of flight from Madagascar, and then in Algeria. At that time, because of all of that, the Malagasy people were completely distraught. And there was born the awakening movement. The awakening movement story takes place in parallel with the colonialism. There was the first leader called Rein Soalambo in 1894 in a small village called Suatanana. Then there was another in 1927 led by Ravelojaona, that's her name, that means alive by God, in a village called Manulchun. And there was, in 1941, awakening movement led by Ravelojaona Germain, called also Ninlav, in a small village called Ankara Malaza. And in 1944, there was another awakening movement led by Pastor Kutuzandri Daniel in a small village called Farimeno. In one word, God didn't leave the island of Madagascar alone during the difficult times. God sent people to the Malagasy people at that time.